Maya Rodriguez looked at the clock on the restaurant wall. It was almost midnight and her feet hurt badly. She had been working for 12 hours straight at the Golden Spoon restaurant. Her black shoes had holes in them, but she could not buy new ones yet. Every dollar she earned went to pay for her grandmother's medicine. The Golden Spoon was a fancy restaurant in downtown Chicago. Rich people came here to eat expensive food and drink costly wine. Maya worked as a waitress, serving these wealthy customers who spent more money on one meal than she made in a week. Maya wiped the sweat from her forehead and picked up a dirty plate from table 6. The customers had left without saying thank you, but Maya did not mind. She was used to being ignored by the rich people who ate here. Her uniform was old and had been washed so many times that the black color had turned gray. The other waitresses often made fun of her clothes behind her back. "Look at Maya's shoes," whispered Sarah, another waitress. "They are so old and ugly. Why doesn't she buy new ones?" Maya heard the comment but pretended not to. She knew Sarah and the other girls talked about her. They said mean things about her second-hand clothes and her old purse. But Maya did not care what they thought. She had more important things to worry about. Her grandmother, Elena, was very sick. The old woman had raised Maya since she was a little girl. Maya's mother had died when Maya was only 5 years old. Her father, Victor Rodriguez, had been too busy with his business to take care of a small child. So Elena had stepped in and become Maya's whole world. Now Elena was lying in a hospital bed, and the doctors said she needed expensive treatment. The medicine cost $3,000 every month. Maya made only $2,000 working at the restaurant. She had to find another way to get the extra money her grandmother needed. Maya thought about calling her father for help. Victor Rodriguez was now a very rich man. He owned many companies and had millions of dollars. But Maya had not talked to her father in 5 years. They had fought badly when Maya finished college. Victor had wanted Maya to join his business empire. He had big plans for her to become a powerful businesswoman like him, but Maya wanted to help poor people instead. She had studied social work in college and wanted to work with children who had no families. "You are wasting your life," Victor had shouted during their last fight. "I built this empire for you and you want to throw it all away to help strangers. Those strangers need help more than you need another person to count your money," Maya had replied. "I want to make a real difference in the world." Victor had been so angry that he told Maya to leave his house and never come back. Maya had taken her few belongings and moved in with her grandmother. She had been proud of her choice then, but now she wondered if she had made a mistake. Maya finished cleaning table 6 and moved to table 7. A rich couple had eaten dinner there earlier. They had left their plates full of expensive food that they did not finish. Maya looked at all the wasted food and felt sad. This food could feed her and her grandmother for 3 days. The restaurant manager, Mr. Patterson, walked over to Maya. He was a thin man with gray hair who always looked angry. Mr. Patterson did not like Maya very much. He thought she was not good enough to work in such a fancy place. "Maya, you are moving too slowly," Mr. Patterson said in a harsh voice. "The customers are complaining that you take too long to clean their tables." Maya looked around the empty restaurant. There were no customers left. Everyone had gone home hours ago. She did not understand why Mr. Patterson was being mean to her, but she did not argue with him. She needed this job too much to make him angry. "I'm sorry, sir. I will work faster," Maya said quietly. "You better," Mr. Patterson replied. "Rich people come here because they expect perfect service. If you cannot give them what they want, I will find someone who can." After Mr. Patterson walked away, Maya continued cleaning. She thought about her grandmother lying alone in the hospital. Elena had been asking for Maya to visit, but Maya had been working double shifts all week. She felt terrible that she could not spend more time with the woman who had given her everything. Maya remembered when she was a little girl and Elena would make her favorite soup when she was sick. Elena would sit by Maya's bed and tell her stories until she fell asleep. Now Elena was the one who needed taking care of, and Maya felt like she was failing her. As Maya cleaned the last table, she made a decision. Tomorrow was her day off, and she would spend the whole day with Elena. Even if it meant she could not work an extra shift to earn more money, her grandmother needed to see her. Maya put away the cleaning supplies and got ready to go home. She lived in a small apartment with Elena, but now that Elena was in the hospital, Maya was all alone. The apartment felt cold and empty without her grandmother's warm smile and kind words. Before leaving the restaurant, Maya looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. Her long black hair was messy from working all day. Her brown eyes looked tired and her face was pale. She was only 25 years old, but she felt much older. Maya washed her hands and face with cold water. She tried to fix her hair, but it was too late to make herself look good. She was exhausted and just wanted to go home and sleep. As she walked out of the Golden Spoon, Maya looked back at the fancy restaurant one more time. The building was beautiful with its gold letters and bright lights. Rich people loved eating here because it made them feel special and important. Maya wondered what it would be like to be rich like the customers she served. She imagined having enough money to buy her grandmother the best doctors and medicine. She dreamed of wearing nice clothes and new shoes that did not have holes in them, but Maya knew these were just dreams. She was poor, and she would probably always be poor. The only thing that mattered now was taking care of Elena and making sure her grandmother got the medicine she needed to stay alive. Maya walked to the bus stop and waited for the late-night bus to take her home. Tomorrow would be another hard day, but she would face it like she always did, with hope in her heart and love for her grandmother giving her strength. Saturday night at the Golden Spoon was always the busiest time of the week. Rich people came to celebrate special occasions and show off their expensive clothes and jewelry. Maya had been working since morning, and her legs felt like they might give out, but she kept smiling and serving customers. At 8 o'clock, a group of 5 women walked into the restaurant. They were all dressed in designer clothes that cost more than Maya made in 6 months. The woman leading the group was Helena Blackwell, a famous socialite whose picture often appeared in magazines. Helena had blonde hair, bright red lipstick, and diamonds sparkling around her neck. "We want the best table in the house," Helena announced loudly as she entered, "and we want perfect service. I have over 1 million followers on social media and I tell everyone where to eat and where not to eat." Mr. Patterson rushed over to greet Helena and her friends. He was smiling so wide that his face looked like it might break. Maya had never seen him smile like that at anyone, especially not at her. "Mrs. Blackwell, what an honor to have you here tonight," Mr. Patterson said, bowing like Helena was a queen. "Please follow me to our finest table." Maya watched as Mr. Patterson led the group to a table near the window. It was the most expensive table in the restaurant with a perfect view of the city lights. Maya knew that dinner for 5 people at that table would cost over $1,000. Mr. Patterson came over to Maya and grabbed her arm roughly. "You will serve Mrs. Blackwell's table tonight," he said. "Do not make any mistakes. These are very important customers." Maya nodded and straightened her old uniform. She picked up 5 menus and walked over to Helena's table. As she approached, she could hear the women talking loudly about their expensive cars and designer purses. "Good evening, ladies. Welcome to the Golden Spoon," Maya said politely. "My name is Maya and I will be taking care of you tonight." Helena looked Maya up and down with disgust. Her eyes stopped at Maya's old shoes and worn uniform. Maya felt embarrassed but tried to keep smiling. "Are you sure this is your best waitress?" Helena asked Mr. Patterson loudly. "She looks like she belongs in a fast food place, not a restaurant like this." The other women at the table started laughing. Maya's face turned red, but she remained professional. She had dealt with rude customers before, and she knew the best thing to do was ignore their mean comments. "What would you like to drink tonight?" Maya asked, trying to change the subject. Helena ordered the most expensive wine on the menu. It cost $400 per bottle. Maya wrote down the order and went to get the wine from the kitchen. When Maya returned with the wine, Helena was taking pictures of herself and posting them on social media. "Having dinner at the Golden Spoon," Helena said into her phone camera. "The food better be as good as the prices are high." Maya began to pour the wine into Helena's glass. She was being very careful because she knew how expensive the wine was. But just as she was finishing, one of Helena's friends bumped into Maya's arm. A tiny drop of red wine splashed onto Helena's white designer dress. Helena screamed so loudly. that everyone in the restaurant stopped eating and turned to look. "You clumsy idiot," Helena shouted, jumping up from her chair. "Look what you've done to my dress. This dress costs more than you make in a year." Maya was shocked. It was just one small drop of wine, barely visible on the white fabric. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Blackwell," Maya said quickly. "Let me help you clean it off. I'm sure it will come out easily." "Don't you dare touch me with your dirty hands," Helena screamed even louder. "Do you know who I am? I am Helena Blackwell. I could buy this entire restaurant if I wanted to." All the other customers in the restaurant were staring now. Maya felt terrible. She knew it was an accident, but Helena was acting like Maya had done it on purpose. Mr. Patterson came running over to see what was happening. When he saw the small wine stain on Helena's dress, his face turned white with fear. "Mrs. Blackwell, I am so sorry," Mr. Patterson said. "Please let us pay for your dress to be cleaned." "Cleaned?" Helena laughed cruelly. "This dress cannot be cleaned. It is ruined forever. This stupid girl has destroyed a $5,000 dress." Maya could not believe what she was hearing. $5,000 for one dress? That was more than twice what Maya made in a month. She felt dizzy thinking about how much money that was. "I want this girl fired right now," Helena demanded, "and I want her to pay for my dress." Maya's heart started beating very fast. She could not lose this job. Without her job, she would have no money to pay for her grandmother's medicine. Elena would die without the treatment she needed. "Please, Mrs. Blackwell," Maya begged. "It was an accident. I will work extra hours to pay for your dress. Please don't ask them to fire me." Helena looked at Maya with cold, mean eyes. Then she smiled, in a way that made Maya's stomach feel sick. "Get down on your hands and knees and clean this floor," Helena ordered. "Maybe that will teach you to be more careful." Maya stared at Helena in shock. She wanted Maya to crawl on the floor like an animal in front of all these people. Maya looked around the restaurant. Every customer was watching and waiting to see what would happen. "Did you hear me?" Helena shouted. "Get down and clean this floor right now, or I will make sure you never work in this city again." Maya looked at Mr. Patterson, hoping he would defend her. But Mr. Patterson nodded his head, telling Maya to do what Helena wanted. "Do what Mrs. Blackwell says," Mr. Patterson whispered to Maya. "We cannot afford to lose customers like her." Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes, but she held them back. She thought about her grandmother lying in the hospital bed, waiting for the medicine that would keep her alive. Maya needed this job more than she needed her pride. Slowly, Maya got down on her hands and knees. She took a cloth from her apron and began to clean the floor around Helena's table. The restaurant was completely silent except for the sound of Maya's hands moving across the floor. Helena took out her phone and started recording a video of Maya cleaning the floor. "Look at this pathetic waitress," Helena said to her phone camera. "She doesn't know her place in the world. This is what happens when poor people try to work in places where they don't belong." The other women at Helena's table started laughing and taking pictures too. Maya kept cleaning, trying to ignore the cameras and the cruel laughter. She focused on thinking about her grandmother and the medicine she needed. When Maya finished cleaning the floor, she slowly stood up. Her knees hurt from crawling on the hard floor and her face was burning with shame. Every person in the restaurant had watched her humiliation. Helena was still recording with her phone. "Remember this face, everyone," Helena said to her camera. "This is Maya Rodriguez, the clumsiest waitress in Chicago. Never let her serve you or she will ruin your evening." Maya ran to the kitchen where no one could see her cry. She locked herself in the bathroom and let the tears fall down her face. She had never felt so embarrassed and hurt in her entire life. Outside in the dining room, Helena posted the video on all her social media accounts. Within minutes, thousands of people were watching Maya's humiliation and sharing it with their friends. Maya woke up the next morning feeling terrible. She had barely slept because she kept thinking about what happened at the restaurant. Every time she closed her eyes, she could see Helena's cruel smile and hear the laughter of the customers watching her clean the floor. Maya made herself a cup of coffee and sat down at her small kitchen table. She picked up her phone to check the time and saw that she had 57 missed calls and hundreds of text messages. Her heart started beating fast. As she realized something was very wrong, the first text message was from her friend Rosa. "Maya, I'm so sorry. Have you seen what's on the internet?" Maya's hands were shaking as she opened her social media app. The first thing she saw was Helena's video from last night. It had been shared over 100,000 times in just 12 hours. The title of the video was, "Clumsy Waitress Gets What She Deserves." Maya watched in horror as she saw herself on her hands and knees, cleaning the floor while Helena laughed and made fun of her. The comments under the video were even worse than the video itself. "What a loser," one person wrote. "She deserved to be humiliated." "Poor people should know their place," another comment said. "She probably did it on purpose for attention." "I would never let someone like her serve me food," wrote someone else. Maya felt sick to her stomach as she read comment after comment making fun of her. There were thousands of people all over the world laughing at her pain and calling her names. Some people were even sharing the video on their own social media pages with cruel jokes. Maya's phone rang, and she saw it was her best friend Carlos calling. Carlos worked at a different restaurant across town and had always been kind to Maya. "Maya, are you okay?" Carlos asked as soon as she answered. "I saw the video. I can't believe that woman did that to you." "I don't know what to do, Carlos," Maya said, starting to cry. "Everyone is making fun of me. I feel so ashamed." "You have nothing to be ashamed of," Carlos said firmly. "That rich woman is the one who should be ashamed. She treated you like garbage for no reason." After talking to Carlos, Maya tried to call her grandmother at the hospital. But the nurse told her that Elena was having a bad day and could not talk on the phone. Maya felt even worse knowing that her grandmother was suffering while Maya was dealing with this nightmare. At 10 o'clock, Maya got dressed and went to work at the Golden Spoon. She hoped that maybe people would forget about the video after a few days. But as soon as she walked into the restaurant, she knew she was in trouble. Mr. Patterson was waiting for her at the front door. His face looked angry and cold. Behind him stood the restaurant owner, Mr. Williams, a fat man in an expensive suit who rarely came to the restaurant. "Maya, we need to talk," Mr. Patterson said. "Come to the office." Maya followed them to the small office behind the kitchen. Her heart was pounding because she knew this conversation would not be good. "Sit down," Mr. Williams said, pointing to a chair. "I suppose you know why we called you here?" Maya nodded but did not say anything. She was afraid that if she tried to talk, she would start crying again. "That video of you has been seen by millions of people," Mr. Williams continued. "Our restaurant's name is all over the internet, and not in a good way. People are saying, we treat our workers badly." "But sir, it wasn't my fault," Maya said quietly. "It was an accident. Mrs. Blackwell's friend bumped my arm." "It doesn't matter whose fault it was," Mr. Patterson interrupted. "What matters is that our reputation is being damaged. Rich customers don't want to eat at a place where they think the staff might embarrass them." Mr. Williams pulled out a piece of paper and put it on the desk in front of Maya. "This is your termination letter," he said. "We are letting you go immediately." Maya felt like someone had punched her in the stomach. "Please don't fire me," she begged. "I need this job. My grandmother is sick and needs expensive medicine. I promise this will never happen again." "I'm sorry, Maya," Mr. Williams said, but he didn't sound sorry at all. "The decision has been made. We cannot risk losing our wealthy customers because of what happened." "You have 1 hour to clean out your locker and leave," Mr. Patterson added. "Security will escort you out of the building." Maya stood up slowly, feeling like her legs might not hold her. "What about my last paycheck?" she asked. "You will receive it in the mail in 2 weeks," Mr. Williams replied. Maya walked to the employee area in a daze. She opened her small locker and took out her extra uniform and the picture of her grandmother that she kept there. The other employees watched her, but nobody said anything. They were all afraid they might lose their jobs too if they showed her any kindness. As Maya left the Golden Spoon for the last time, she felt completely hopeless. Without her job, she had no way to pay for her grandmother's medicine. Elena only had enough medicine for 3 more days, and then she would have to stop her treatment. Maya went home and sat on her couch staring at her phone. The video was still being shared, and more people were making cruel comments about her. Some people had even found her personal social media accounts and were sending her mean messages directly. Maya thought about her options. She could try to find another job, but who would hire her after seeing that video? She could ask Carlos for help, but he was poor too and barely made enough money for himself. She could try to get a loan from the bank, but they would never give money to someone who just lost their job. There was only one person who had enough money to help her grandmother. Maya hadn't talked to her father in 5 years, and she had promised herself she would never ask him for anything. But now Elena's life was in danger, and Maya's pride didn't matter anymore. Maya picked up her phone and found her father's number. She had kept it in her contacts even though she had sworn she would never use it. Her hands were shaking as she pressed the call button. The phone rang 3 times before a voice answered. "Rodriguez Industries, how may I help you?" "I need to speak to Victor Rodriguez," Maya said. "This is his daughter, Maya." "Please hold while I transfer you," the secretary said. Maya waited for what felt like hours but was probably only a few minutes. Her heart was beating so fast she thought it might explode. "Maya?" Her father's voice sounded surprised and worried. "Is everything okay? It's been so long since you called." Maya started crying as soon as she heard his voice. "Papa, I need your help," she said between sobs. "Grandma Elena is dying and I can't afford her medicine anymore." "What happened?" Victor asked. "Tell me everything." Maya told her father about Elena's illness, about losing her job, and about the video that had ruined her life. She tried to explain everything as quickly as possible because she was afraid he might hang up on her. When she finished talking, there was silence on the phone for a long moment. "How much money do you need for Elena's treatment?" Victor finally asked. $3,000 every month, Maya said quietly. "I know it's a lot of money, and I know we haven't talked in years, but she's dying, Papa. She's the only family I have left. You have me too," Victor said softly. "You've always had me, even when we weren't speaking. I'm going to wire $50,000 to your bank account right now. That should cover Elena's treatment for over a year." Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Papa, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much." "You don't need to thank me," Victor replied. "Elena raised you when I was too busy to be a good father. I owe her everything. But Maya, I want you to send me that video. I want to see exactly what those people did to my daughter." Maya sent her father the link to Helena's video and waited. While he watched it, she could hear him breathing heavily on the other end of the phone. "Maya," Victor said, and his voice sounded different now. It sounded cold and dangerous. "Those people made a very big mistake when they decided to hurt you." Victor Rodriguez sat in his office on the 50th floor of the tallest building in downtown Chicago. Through his huge windows, he could see the entire city spread out below him. He was one of the most powerful men in America, with companies all over the world and billions of dollars in the bank. But right now, Victor felt like his heart was breaking. He had just finished watching the video of his daughter Maya being humiliated at the Golden Spoon restaurant. He watched it 5 times, and each time he felt angrier than before. Victor had built his empire from nothing. When he was young, he had been poor like Maya was now. He remembered what it felt like to be looked down on by rich people who thought they were better than him. He had promised himself that no one would ever treat him that way again. Now someone had treated his daughter even worse, and Victor could not stand it. Victor pressed a button on his desk, and his assistant Jennifer came into the office immediately. Jennifer had worked for Victor for 15 years and knew him very well. She could see that he was extremely upset about something. "Jennifer, I need you to find out everything about a woman named Helena Blackwell," Victor said. "I want to know where she lives, where she works, how much money she has, and who her friends are. I want a complete report on my desk in 2 hours." "Yes, sir," Jennifer said. "Is there anything else you need?" "Call my lawyer, my accountant, and my head of security," Victor continued. "Tell them to come here right away and cancel all my meetings for the rest of the week. I have more important things to do." After Jennifer left, Victor picked up a framed picture from his desk. It was a photo of Maya when she was 10 years old, smiling and hugging her grandmother Elena. Victor had taken the picture during one of his rare visits to see his daughter. Victor felt terrible guilt when he looked at the photo. After Maya's mother died, Victor had thrown himself into his work. He told himself he was building an empire for Maya's future. But the truth was that work was easier than dealing with the pain of losing his wife. Elena had stepped in to raise Maya, and she had done a much better job than Victor ever could have. Elena taught Maya to be kind, caring, and strong. She taught Maya to help people who were less fortunate and to always treat others with respect. Victor was proud of the woman Maya had become, even though they had fought about her career choice. Maya wanted to help poor children instead of making money. And Victor had been angry because he thought she was wasting her education. But now he realized that Maya's kindness was exactly what the world needed. For the past 5 years, Victor had secretly kept track of Maya through private investigators. He knew where she lived, where she worked, and how she was struggling to pay her bills. He had wanted to help her many times, but he respected her wish to be independent. Victor had seen Maya working long hours at the restaurant, wearing old clothes and eating cheap food so she could save money for Elena's medicine. He had been proud of her determination, but it broke his heart to see her suffer. Now Victor knew he should have stepped in sooner. If he had swallowed his pride and tried to make peace with Maya, she never would have been working at that restaurant. She never would have met that terrible woman, Helena Blackwell. Jennifer returned with a thick folder full of information about Helena. Victor opened it and began to read. Helena Blackwell was 35 years old and married to a man who owned several car dealerships. She had never worked a real job in her life and spent her time shopping and posting pictures of herself on social media. Helena lived in a mansion in the richest part of Chicago and owned 5 expensive cars. She spent over $10,000 every month on clothes and jewelry. She had millions of followers on social media who watched her live her luxurious lifestyle. Victor also learned that Helena was not as rich as she pretended to be. Her husband's business was losing money, and they owed millions of dollars to banks. They were living far beyond their means and were close to bankruptcy. Victor's lawyer, David Chen, arrived at the office along with his accountant, Maria Santos, and his head of security, former FBI agent Robert Thompson. "I need your help with something very important," Victor told them. "Someone hurt my daughter, and I want to make sure it never happens again." Victor showed them the video and explained what had happened to Maya. David, Maria, and Robert all looked shocked and angry as they watched Helena humiliate Maya. "This is disgusting," Maria said. "How could anyone treat another person like this?" "What do you want us to do, sir?" Robert asked. "I want to buy the Golden Spoon restaurant," Victor said. "I want to own it completely, and I want to do it as quickly as possible." David looked at his notes. "I can have the paperwork ready in 24 hours, he said. "But sir, buying a restaurant to get revenge might not be the best use of your money." "This isn't about money," Victor replied firmly. "This is about protecting my daughter and making sure this never happens to anyone else. That restaurant allowed my daughter to be treated like garbage. They fired her to protect their rich customers instead of standing up for what was right." Victor turned to Maria. "Find out who owns the Golden Spoon and how much they want for it. I don't care if I have to pay 10 times what it's worth. I want that restaurant." Maria nodded and started making phone calls. Within an hour, she had all the information Victor needed. The Golden Spoon was owned by a man named Richard Williams, who was having serious money problems. His restaurant was losing customers, and he owed a lot of money to suppliers and banks. "Mr. Williams would probably sell for $2 million, Maria reported. "The restaurant is only worth about $600,000, but he's desperate for money." "Offer him $6 million, Victor said. "But tell him he has to accept today, and the sale has to be completed tomorrow." $6 million? Maria asked in surprise. "Sir, that's 10 times what the restaurant is worth." "I know exactly what I'm doing," Victor replied. "When someone hurts my family, money doesn't matter. Make the offer." While Maria worked on buying the restaurant, Victor called a private investigator named Sarah Wilson, who had been helping him keep track of Maya for years. "Sarah, I need you to find out everything you can about the employees at the Golden Spoon restaurant," Victor said, "especially the manager, Mr. Patterson. I want to know how they treat their workers and if they have ever done anything like this before. I'll get started right away, Mr. Rodriguez, Sarah replied. How detailed do you want this investigation to be? I want to know everything, Victor said. I want to know what these people had for breakfast this morning. I want to know every mistake they've ever made and every rule they've ever broken. By the end of the day, Victor had all the information he needed. Mr. Williams had accepted his offer to buy the Golden Spoon, and the lawyers were preparing the contracts. Sarah had found evidence that Mr. Patterson had been stealing money from the restaurant and treating employees badly for years. Victor also learned that several other waitresses had quit the Golden Spoon because of poor treatment. The restaurant had a reputation for allowing rich customers to abuse the staff, and many good employees had left because of it. That evening, Victor drove to the hospital to visit Elena. He had not seen Maya's grandmother in 2 years, and he felt nervous as he walked to her room. Elena had always been kind to him, even when he was not a good father to Maya. Elena was sleeping when Victor arrived, but she woke up when she heard his footsteps. Her face lit up with a weak smile when she saw him. Victor, Elena said softly, it's so good to see you. Maya told me you were helping with my medicine. Thank you so much. You don't need to thank me, Elena, Victor said, sitting down next to her bed. You raised my daughter when I was too selfish to do it myself. You made her into an amazing woman. Maya is special, Elena agreed. She has such a good heart. But she's been so sad lately. She tries to hide it from me, but I can see that she's been hurt. Someone treated her very badly, Victor said. But I promise you, Elena, I'm going to make sure she never gets hurt like that again. Elena reached out and took Victor's hand. Maya needs her father, she said. She's been too proud to admit it, but she misses you very much. I miss her too, Victor said, feeling tears in his eyes. I've made so many mistakes, Elena. I don't know if she can ever forgive me. Love always finds a way, Elena said with a gentle smile. You just have to be brave enough to try. Victor stayed with Elena for 2 more hours, talking about Maya and sharing memories of when Maya was a little girl. When he finally left the hospital, Victor felt more determined than ever to protect his daughter and make things right. Tomorrow, the Golden Spoon would belong to him, and he would make sure that no employee would ever be treated badly again. Richard Williams sat in his small office behind the Golden Spoon restaurant, staring at a pile of unpaid bills on his desk. The restaurant he had owned for 15 years was failing, and he was running out of options. He owed money to food suppliers, utility companies, and the bank that had given him a loan to buy the building. Richard had opened the Golden Spoon with dreams of creating the finest restaurant in Chicago. For many years, it had been successful, attracting wealthy customers who paid high prices for fancy food and expensive wine. But in recent years, competition from newer restaurants had hurt his business badly. The problems had gotten worse after last night's incident with the waitress Maya and that rich woman, Helena Blackwell. Several customers had called to cancel their reservations after seeing the video online. Some people thought the restaurant treated its workers badly, while others were afraid they might be embarrassed if they ate there. Richard knew he had made a mistake by firing Maya. She had been a good worker who never caused trouble, but he had been so afraid of losing Helena Blackwell as a customer that he had made a quick decision without thinking it through. Now Richard was paying the price for his mistake. He had counted the money in the cash register that morning and realized he barely had enough to pay his workers for the week. If things didn't improve soon, he would have to close the Golden Spoon forever. At exactly 10 o'clock in the morning, Richard's phone rang. The caller said he was a lawyer named David Shen, representing a company called Falcon Holdings, LLC. Mr. Williams, my client is interested in purchasing your restaurant, David said in a professional voice. Would you be available to discuss a potential sale today? Richard was surprised. He had never heard of Falcon Holdings, and he hadn't put his restaurant up for sale. I'm sorry, but the Golden Spoon is not for sale, Richard said. I understand, David replied calmly, but my client is prepared to make you a very generous offer. Would you be willing to hear what we have to propose? Richard thought about his pile of bills and his empty bank account. How generous are we talking about? he asked. $6 million, David said. Cash payment with the sale completed within 24 hours. Richard almost dropped the phone. $6 million was 10 times what the Golden Spoon was worth. His restaurant was losing money and needed expensive repairs. Even in its best years, it had never been worth more than $1 million. I think there might be some mistake, Richard said slowly. My restaurant isn't worth anywhere near $6 million. There's no mistake, Mr. Williams, David replied. My client has done their research and believes your restaurant has great potential. They are willing to pay a premium for a quick sale. Richard's mind was racing. $6 million would solve all his money problems and give him enough to retire comfortably. But something about this offer seemed too good to be true. Who is your client? Richard asked. Why do they want my restaurant so badly? I'm afraid that information is confidential, David said. My client prefers to remain anonymous for now, but I can assure you that they are a legitimate business with excellent financial backing. Richard asked David to give him an hour to think about the offer. After hanging up the phone, Richard called his own lawyer, a man named Bill Harrison who had helped him with legal problems for many years. Bill, someone just offered to buy my restaurant for $6 million, Richard said. Does this sound suspicious to you? It sounds too good to be true, Bill replied honestly. But if they're offering cash and can prove they have the money, it might be worth considering. Your restaurant is in serious financial trouble, Richard. This could be your way out. But why would anyone pay so much for a failing restaurant? Richard asked. Maybe they see potential that you don't see, Bill suggested. Or maybe they have plans to completely renovate and rebrand the place. Rich investors sometimes pay high prices for locations in good neighborhoods. Richard spent the next hour walking around his restaurant and thinking about the offer. The Golden Spoon was located in the heart of downtown Chicago's financial district. The building was old but had good bones, and the location was perfect for attracting business customers. Maybe the mysterious buyer wanted to turn it into a different type of restaurant. Maybe they planned to tear it down and build something else. Richard didn't really care what they did with it as long as they paid him the money they promised. When David Chen called back, Richard was ready with his answer. I accept your client's offer, he said. When can we sign the papers? Excellent, David replied. I'll have the contracts ready this afternoon. Can you meet at my law office at 3 o'clock? Yes, Richard said. But I'll need to see proof that your client has the money before I sign anything. Of course, David said. We'll have bank documentation showing that the funds are available and ready to transfer. That afternoon, Richard met David Chen at a fancy law office in downtown Chicago. David was a well-dressed man in his 40s who looked very professional and trustworthy. He showed Richard official documents from a major bank proving that Falcon Holdings had $6 million ready to transfer. The contracts were thick and full of legal language that Richard didn't completely understand. But his lawyer, Bill Harrison, came with him and read through everything carefully. This all looks legitimate, Bill told Richard. Falcon Holdings is a real company, and they have the money they promised. The only unusual thing is how fast they want to complete the sale. Fast is good for me, Richard said. I need this money as soon as possible. The contracts included one unusual requirement. Falcon Holdings wanted to take control of the restaurant immediately, even before the official sale was completed. They wanted to start making changes to the staff and operations right away. My client is very eager to begin implementing their vision for the restaurant, David explained. They're willing to take the risk of starting work before the sale is final. Richard didn't see any problem with this arrangement. Once he signed the contracts, he would get his money whether the sale was officially completed or not. The contracts protected him legally, and Falcon Holdings would be taking all the risks. Richard signed the papers at 4 o'clock that afternoon. By 5 o'clock, the money had been transferred to his bank account. Richard looked at his bank balance on his phone and could hardly believe what he was seeing. For the first time in years, he had enough money to pay all his bills and still have millions left over. Congratulations, Mr. Williams, David said, shaking Richard's hand. Falcon Holdings will take control of the restaurant starting tomorrow morning. You're free to pursue other opportunities now. Richard left the law office feeling like he was walking on air. He had been saved from bankruptcy by a mysterious buyer who appeared out of nowhere. He didn't know who was behind Falcon Holdings or why they wanted his restaurant so badly, but he didn't care. All that mattered was that his money problems were over. That evening, Richard called Mr. Patterson and told him about the sale. Mr. Patterson was shocked to hear that the restaurant had been sold so quickly. "What's going to happen to the staff?" Mr. Patterson asked nervously. "Will the new owners keep us on?" "I don't know," Richard admitted. "The new owners said they want to make changes, but they didn't give me any details. You'll have to talk to them tomorrow." Mr. Patterson felt worried. He had been the manager of the Golden Spoon for 8 years, and he needed his job to support his family. He hoped the new owners would recognize his experience and keep him on as manager. But Mr. Patterson had no idea that the new owners already knew all about him. They knew about his rude treatment of employees, his poor management skills, and the money he had been stealing from the restaurant cash register. Tomorrow would bring big changes to the Golden Spoon, and not everyone would be happy about them. Meanwhile, across town, Victor Rodriguez was meeting with his team of lawyers and business managers. The purchase of the Golden Spoon was just the first step in his plan. Now he needed to put together a new management team that would run the restaurant according to his vision. "I want this restaurant to become a model for how service workers should be treated," Victor told his team. "Every employee should be paid fairly, treated with respect, and given opportunities to advance their careers." "What about the current staff?" Jennifer asked. "Do you want to keep any of them?" "We'll evaluate each employee individually," Victor replied. "Anyone who has treated workers badly will be fired immediately, but good employees who are just following bad management will be given a chance to prove themselves." Victor had special plans for Maya, but he wanted to surprise her. Tomorrow she would discover that her life was about to change in ways she never could have imagined. Mr. Patterson arrived at the Golden Spoon on Monday morning, feeling nervous about meeting the new owners. He had spent all weekend worrying about whether he would keep his job. The restaurant was the only source of income for his family, and he couldn't afford to lose it. As Mr. Patterson unlocked the front door, he saw a woman in a business suit waiting for him. She was tall, professional-looking, and carried a briefcase. Behind her stood 2 men in dark suits who looked like security guards. "Are you Mr. Patterson?" the woman asked. "My name is Lisa Crawford, and I'm the new regional manager for Falcon Holdings. We need to talk." Mr. Patterson felt his stomach drop. Something about Lisa's serious expression told him this conversation wouldn't go well. "Yes, I'm Patterson. Please come in." Lisa and the 2 security guards followed Mr. Patterson into the restaurant. Lisa looked around the dining room carefully, taking notes on a tablet computer. She seemed to be examining every detail of the restaurant. "Mr. Patterson, please sit down," Lisa said, pointing to a table near the window. "We have some important matters to discuss." Mr. Patterson sat down, trying to look calm even though his hands were shaking. Lisa opened her briefcase and pulled out a thick folder with his name on it. "We've been reviewing the management practices at this restaurant," Lisa began. "Our investigation has revealed some serious problems with how employees have been treated here." "I don't understand," Mr. Patterson said, though he was starting to get a bad feeling about where this conversation was heading. Lisa opened the folder and pulled out several papers. "We have security camera footage from Saturday night showing how you handled the incident with Maya Rodriguez and Helena Blackwell. We also have records showing that you've been taking money from the cash register without authorization." Mr. Patterson's face turned white. He had thought no one knew about the money he had been taking. He only took small amounts when he needed extra cash for personal expenses, and he had always planned to pay it back. "I can explain about the money," Mr. Patterson said quickly. "It was just temporary loans. I was going to put it all back. Our accountants have found that you've taken over $15,000 from this restaurant in the past 2 years, Lisa continued. "That's not a loan, Mr. Patterson. That's theft." Mr. Patterson felt like he was going to be sick. "Please, don't call the police," he begged. "I have a family to support. I'll pay back every penny, I promise." "We're not going to call the police," Lisa said. "But your employment here is terminated immediately. You have 15 minutes to clean out your office and leave the building." One of the security guards handed Mr. Patterson an empty box for his personal belongings. Mr. Patterson walked to his office in a daze. unable to believe that his career at the Golden Spoon was over. As Mr. Patterson packed his things, other employees started arriving for work. Lisa gathered them all together in the dining room for an important meeting. "Good morning, everyone," Lisa said to the confused staff. "My name is Lisa Crawford, and I represent the new owners of the Golden Spoon. As of today, this restaurant is under new management." The employees looked at each other nervously. Sarah, one of the waitresses who had often made fun of Maya's clothes, raised her hand. "What's going to happen to our jobs?" she asked. "That depends," Lisa replied. "We're going to evaluate each employee based on their performance and how they treat their co-workers and customers. Those who meet our standards will keep their jobs and receive better pay and benefits." Lisa paused and looked around the room. "However, we have a zero-tolerance policy for workplace harassment, theft, or any form of discrimination. Anyone who is engaged in these behaviors will be terminated." The kitchen staff looked relieved. Most of them were hard-working people who had always treated Maya kindly. But some of the waitresses started looking worried, especially those who had participated in making fun of Maya. "We've reviewed security footage and interviewed former employees," Lisa continued. "We know exactly how each of you has behaved in the past. Those who have been good employees have nothing to worry about." Lisa pulled out another folder. "Sarah Mitchell, please step forward." Sarah walked to the front of the room, her face pale with fear. "Sarah, you're terminated immediately," Lisa said firmly. "We have video evidence of you making cruel comments about Maya Rodriguez's appearance and belongings. We also have testimony from other employees that you've created a hostile work environment." "But I need this job," Sarah protested. "I was just joking around." "Everyone makes jokes about coworkers. Making fun of someone's poverty and clothing is not joking," Lisa replied. "It's bullying. Please collect your belongings and leave." Sarah started crying, but the security guards escorted her out of the restaurant. The remaining employees watched, in shock, realizing that the new owners were serious about treating workers with respect. Lisa called 2 more waitresses forward and fired them as well. Both had been involved in the cruel treatment of Maya and other employees who couldn't afford expensive clothes. "Now for the good news," Lisa said, addressing the remaining staff. "Everyone who stays will receive an immediate 20% pay raise. You'll also get health insurance, paid vacation time, and opportunities for advancement." The kitchen staff and the few remaining waitresses looked amazed. The Golden Spoon had never offered benefits like these before. "We're also implementing new policies to protect all employees," Lisa continued. "No customer, no matter how wealthy, will be allowed to abuse or humiliate our staff. Any customer who treats our employees badly will be asked to leave and banned from the restaurant." Carlos, the chef, raised his hand. "Will you be hiring new people to replace the ones who were fired?" "Yes," Lisa said. "We'll be hiring several new waitresses and a new assistant manager. But first, I want to ask all of you about Maya Rodriguez. What kind of employee was she?" The remaining staff members looked at each other. Maya had been well liked by everyone, except the people who had just been fired. "Maya was the hardest worker we had," said James, one of the busboys. "She always stayed late to help clean up, and she never complained even when customers were rude to her. She was always kind to everyone," added Maria, a cook. "When I was sick last month, Maya worked extra shifts to cover for me even though she was exhausted." Lisa nodded and made notes on her tablet. "Would you all be happy to work with Maya again if she came back?" "Absolutely," Carlos said, and the others nodded in agreement. "Maya belongs here more than any of us. She got treated unfairly." "Thank you for that feedback," Lisa said. "Now let's talk about our new menu and service standards." For the next 2 hours, Lisa explained the changes that would be made to the Golden Spoon. The new owners wanted to maintain the restaurant's upscale atmosphere while creating a workplace where employees were valued and respected. The menu would be updated with fresh, locally sourced ingredients. The dining room would be redecorated to create a warmer, more welcoming environment. Most importantly, all staff would receive training on customer service and conflict resolution. "If a customer ever treats you the way Maya was treated on Saturday night, you have my permission to refuse to serve them," Lisa told the staff. "No one deserves to be humiliated for doing their job." As the meeting ended, the employees felt hopeful about the future of the Golden Spoon. For the first time in years, they felt like they were working for people who actually cared about their well-being. Lisa stayed at the restaurant for the rest of the day, observing how the staff interacted with customers and each other. She was pleased to see that the remaining employees were professional, courteous, and hardworking. That evening, Lisa called Victor Rodriguez to give him a report on the first day of new management. "How did it go?" Victor asked. "Very well," Lisa replied. "We terminated 4 employees who were involved in workplace harassment, including the manager who allowed Maya to be humiliated. The remaining staff are excited about the changes and speak very highly of Maya." "Good," Victor said. "Now for the next phase of the plan. I want you to contact Maya and offer her a job, but don't tell her who the new owner is yet. I want to surprise her myself." "What position should I offer her?" Lisa asked. "Shift supervisor," Victor said, "with a salary of $50,000 per year, full benefits and opportunities for advancement. Make sure she knows that this restaurant has new policies protecting employees from harassment. She'll probably be suspicious about why you want to hire her after what happened," Lisa pointed out. "Tell her the new owners saw the video and were disgusted by how she was treated," Victor said. "Tell her they want to prove that the Golden Spoon is a place where hardworking people are valued and respected." Lisa smiled. "I think Maya is going to be very surprised when she learns who really owns this restaurant now." "I hope so," Victor said. "My daughter deserves to know that her father will always protect her even when they're not speaking to each other." Maya was sitting in her small apartment looking through job listings on her computer when her phone rang. She didn't recognize the number, but she answered anyway, hoping it might be someone calling about a job. "Hello? Is this Maya Rodriguez?" asked a professional-sounding woman. "Yes, this is Maya," she replied. "My name is Lisa Crawford, and I'm the regional manager for the new owners of the Golden Spoon restaurant. I was wondering if you would be interested in discussing a job opportunity with us." Maya was confused. "I'm sorry, but there must be some mistake. I was fired from the Golden Spoon 3 days ago." "There's no mistake," Lisa said kindly. "The restaurant has new owners as of yesterday, and we've made significant changes to management and policies. We've heard wonderful things about your work ethic and would like to offer you a position." Maya didn't know what to say. After everything that had happened, she wasn't sure she ever wanted to set foot in the Golden Spoon again. "Can I ask why?" "You would want to hire me. I'm sure you've seen the video of what happened." "Yes, we have seen the video," Lisa replied. "In fact, that's one of the reasons we want to hire you. The new owners were disgusted by how you were treated, and they want to prove that the Golden Spoon is now a place where hardworking employees are valued and respected." "What kind of position are you offering?" Maya asked, her curiosity growing. "Shift supervisor," Lisa said. "The salary would be $50,000 per year, plus full health insurance, paid vacation, and opportunities for advancement. We're also implementing strict policies to protect employees from customer harassment." Maya almost dropped the phone. $50,000 was more than double what she had been making as a waitress. With that salary, she could easily afford her grandmother's medicine and maybe even save some money for the future. "This sounds too good to be true," Maya said honestly. "Why would the new owners pay so much for a supervisor position?" "Because good employees are hard to find," Lisa replied. "We want to build a team of people who care about their work and treat customers and coworkers with respect. From what we've heard, you fit that description perfectly." Maya thought about it for a moment. She really needed a job, and this offer was better than anything she could have hoped for. But she was still nervous about returning to the place where she had been so badly humiliated. "Can I think about it overnight?" Maya asked. "Of course," Lisa said. "But I should mention that we're making changes starting immediately. The manager who allowed you to be treated poorly has been fired, along with several other employees who created a hostile work environment." This news surprised Maya. Mr. Patterson had worked at the Golden Spoon for years. "You fired Mr. Patterson?" "Yes," Lisa said firmly. "We also terminated Sarah Mitchell and 2 other waitresses who were involved in workplace harassment. The new owners have a zero-tolerance policy for that kind of behavior." Maya felt a mixture of relief and satisfaction. Sarah had been one of the people who made fun of her clothes and appearance every day. It felt good to know that there would be consequences for treating people badly. "Could I come in tomorrow to see the restaurant and meet with you?" Maya asked. "Absolutely," Lisa replied. "How about 2 o'clock in the afternoon?" "That sounds perfect," Maya said. "Thank you for calling." After hanging up, Maya called her friend Carlos to tell him about the job offer. Carlos had been worried about Maya since she was fired and was happy to hear she might have a new opportunity. "This is amazing news, Maya," Carlos said. "But are you sure you want to go back there? Won't it bring back bad memories?" "I'm nervous about it," Maya admitted. "But I need a job, and this offer is too good to pass up. Besides, if they really have new management and new policies, maybe it will be different." The next day, Maya put on her best dress and took the bus to the Golden Spoon. As she walked up to the restaurant, she noticed that workers were painting the exterior and installing new signs. The place already looked fresher and more welcoming. Lisa Crawford was waiting for Maya at the front door. She was a well-dressed woman in her 40s, with a warm smile and confident manner. "Maya, it's so nice to meet you," Lisa said, shaking Maya's hand. "Come in and let me show you around." As Maya walked into the restaurant, she was amazed by how different it looked. The dining room had been redecorated with brighter colors and more comfortable furniture. The atmosphere felt warmer and more welcoming than before. "We've made a lot of changes in just 2 days," Lisa explained. "The new owners want this to be a place where both customers and employees feel comfortable and respected." Maya noticed that several new people were working in the dining room, and they all looked happy and professional. She also saw some familiar faces from the kitchen staff, who waved at her with big smiles. "Maya," called James, one of the busboys. "We're so glad you're back." "We missed you," added Maria, the cook. "This place wasn't the same without you." Maya felt touched by their warm welcome. These were the people who had always been kind to her, and it was good to see them again. Lisa took Maya to the office that used to belong to Mr. Patterson. It had been completely renovated and now looked like a professional workspace with a computer, filing cabinets, and a comfortable chair. "This would be your office if you accept the position," Lisa said. "As shift supervisor, you would be responsible for managing the waitstaff during your shifts and ensuring that our customer service standards are met." "What exactly are these new customer service standards?" Maya asked. Lisa pulled out a handbook and showed it to Maya. "Every employee is required to be treated with dignity and respect. If a customer becomes abusive or inappropriate, staff members are authorized to refuse service and ask the customer to leave." Maya read through the handbook and was impressed by the comprehensive policies protecting workers' rights. "This is very different from how things used to be run here. The new owners believe that happy employees provide better service," Lisa explained. "When workers feel valued and protected, they do their best work, and customers have a better experience." "Can I ask who the new owners are?" Maya asked. "The restaurant is owned by Falcon Holdings, a company that specializes in hospitality businesses," Lisa said. "The owner prefers to remain private for now, but I can tell you that they're committed to running ethical businesses that treat employees fairly." Maya and Lisa talked for another hour about the job responsibilities and the changes being made to the restaurant. Maya was impressed by everything she heard and felt excited about the opportunity to be part of a better workplace. "I'd like to accept the position," Maya said finally. "When would you like me to start?" "How about Monday?" Lisa suggested. "That will give us time to complete the training materials and finish the renovations." "That sounds perfect," Maya said. As Maya was preparing to leave, Lisa mentioned something that made her smile. "Oh, and Maya, you should know that Helena Blackwell tried to make a reservation for dinner tonight. We informed her that she's been permanently banned from this restaurant." "Really?" Maya asked, surprised. "Really?" Lisa said firmly. "The new owners saw the video of how she treated you, and they decided that anyone who abuses restaurant staff is not welcome here. We've also posted our new policies online, so other potential customers know what we expect." Maya felt a sense of justice that she hadn't experienced since the whole ordeal began. Helena Blackwell, who had humiliated her and gotten her fired, was now banned from the very restaurant where she had acted so cruelly. "That makes me feel good," Maya said honestly. "Thank you for standing up for your employees." "Thank you for giving us a chance," Lisa replied. "I think you're going to love working here under the new management." Maya left the Golden Spoon feeling hopeful and excited for the first time in days. She had a good job with excellent pay and benefits, and she would be working for people who valued her as a person. As she walked to the bus stop, Maya thought about calling her father to tell him the good news. Victor had been checking on her every day since he helped with Elena's medical bills, and their relationship was slowly starting to heal. Maya decided to surprise her father by visiting his office to share the news in person. She wanted to thank him again for helping with Elena's medicine and let him know that her life was getting back on track. What Maya didn't know was that her father already knew all about her new job. In fact, he was sitting in his office at that very moment, waiting for Lisa's call to confirm that Maya had accepted the position. Victor smiled as he thought about how surprised Maya would be when she learned the truth about who really owned the Golden Spoon. Tomorrow he would reveal himself as the new owner, and he hoped Maya would understand that everything he had done was out of love for his daughter. Maya arrived at the Golden Spoon on Monday morning for her first day as shift supervisor. She was wearing a new dress that she had bought with some of the money her father had given her for Elena's medicine. For the first time in months, Maya felt confident and professional. Lisa Crawford was waiting for her with a warm smile and a folder containing training materials. "Good morning, Maya. Are you ready for your first day?" "I'm excited," Maya replied honestly. "Thank you again for this opportunity." Lisa spent the morning showing Maya her new responsibilities and introducing her to the updated computer systems. The restaurant had been completely modernized with new point-of-sale systems, inventory management software, and employee scheduling programs. "The new owners have invested a lot of money in making this place state-of-the-art," Lisa explained. "They want employees to have the best tools to do their jobs effectively." At noon, the lunch shift began, and Maya started working with the waitstaff to serve customers. She was impressed by how smoothly everything ran under the new management. The employees seemed happier and more motivated than they had ever been under Mr. Patterson's leadership. Around 2 o'clock, Maya was reviewing table assignments when Lisa approached her with an unusual expression on her face. "Maya, the owner of the restaurant is here and would like to meet with you," Lisa said. "He's waiting in the private dining room." Maya felt nervous. She had been wondering about the mysterious owner who had transformed the Golden Spoon so quickly. "Did he say what he wants to discuss?" "He just said he wanted to meet his new shift supervisor," Lisa replied. "Don't worry, I'm sure it's just a friendly introduction." Maya followed Lisa to the private dining room at the back of the restaurant. This was a small, elegant room that was usually reserved for special occasions and important business meetings. As Lisa opened the door, Maya felt her heart stop. Sitting at the table, wearing an expensive business suit and looking directly at her, was her father, Victor Rodriguez. "Hello, Maya," Victor said softly, standing up from his chair. Maya stared at him in shock, unable to speak. Her mind was racing as she tried to understand what was happening. Her father owned the Golden Spoon. He was the mysterious buyer who had purchased the restaurant and fired all the people who had treated her badly. "Papa?" Maya whispered, finally finding her voice. "You bought this restaurant?" Victor nodded, his eyes filling with tears. "I bought it the day after I saw that video of what they did to you. I couldn't stand the thought of you being humiliated by people who should have protected you." Maya sat down heavily in the chair across from her father, still trying to process this incredible revelation. "You did all of this for me?" "I did it because I love you," Victor said simply. "I should have been there to protect you all along, but I was too proud to admit I was wrong about our fight 5 years ago." Maya felt tears starting to flow down her cheeks. "I can't believe you bought an entire restaurant just to get my job back." "It's not just about your job," Victor explained. "When I saw how those people treated you, it reminded me of what it was like when I was poor and people looked down on me. I decided that this restaurant would become a place where every worker is treated with dignity and respect." Lisa quietly left the room, giving father and daughter privacy for their emotional reunion. "Papa, I don't know what to say," Maya said, wiping her eyes. "I've been so angry at you for so long, but you've been watching out for me this whole time." "I hired private investigators to make sure you were safe," Victor admitted. "I knew you wanted to be independent, so I respected your wishes and stayed away. But I never stopped caring about you or Elena." Maya thought about all the struggles she had endured over the past 5 years, working multiple jobs and barely making enough money to survive. "Why didn't you try to contact me sooner?" "Because I was proud and stubborn," Victor said honestly. "I thought you would come back to me when you realized how hard life could be. But watching you these past years, I realized that your strength and compassion are exactly what the world needs. You were right to choose helping people over making money." "I missed you so much, Papa," Maya said, reaching across the table to take her father's hand. "I wanted to call you so many times, but I was too proud too." "We're both too stubborn for our own good," Victor said with a small smile. "But Elena told me something when I visited her in the hospital. She said that love always finds a way, and you just have to be brave enough to try." Maya squeezed her father's hand. "How is Grandma Elena doing? I've been so worried about her." "She's getting better every day," Victor replied. "The new medicine is working well and the doctors are optimistic about her recovery. She's been asking about you constantly." "I want to see her after work today," Maya said. "And Papa, I want to thank you for paying for her medicine. I was so desperate and scared when I called you." "You never have to thank me for taking care of my family," Victor said firmly. "Elena raised you when I was too busy building my empire. I owe her everything." They sat in comfortable silence for a few moments, both overwhelmed by the emotions of their reunion. "So what happens now?" Maya asked. "Do I keep working here as shift supervisor?" Victor smiled. "That's up to you. The job is yours for as long as you want it, with all the benefits and salary we discussed. But I have another offer to make." "What kind of offer?" "I want you to come work for Rodriguez Industries," Victor said. "Not in the corporate office counting money, but heading up a new foundation I'm starting. It will focus on workers' rights and dignity in the service industry." Maya's eyes lit up with interest. "Tell me more about this foundation." "We'll work with restaurants, hotels, and other service businesses to establish fair treatment policies for employees," Victor explained. "We'll provide training, funding, and support to companies that want to create better working conditions." "That sounds amazing," Maya said. "But what about the Golden Spoon?" "The Golden Spoon will be our flagship location," Victor said. "We'll use it as a model to show other businesses how to treat employees with respect while still being profitable. You could split your time between managing the restaurant and developing the foundation." Maya felt excited about the possibility of combining her business skills with her passion for helping people. "I love this idea, Papa. When would we start?" "Whenever you're ready," Victor replied. "But first, I think we should focus on rebuilding our relationship and making sure Elena gets completely healthy." Maya stood up and walked around the table to hug her father. They held each other tightly, both crying tears of joy and relief. "I love you, Papa," Maya whispered. "I'm sorry we wasted so many years being angry at each other." "I love you too, Mija," Victor replied, using the Spanish nickname he had called her when she was little. "And I promise you, no one will ever treat you badly again while I'm around to protect you." That evening, Maya and Victor went to the hospital together to visit Elena. The elderly woman was sitting up in bed looking much stronger than she had in weeks. "Elena, look who I brought to see you," Victor said as they entered the room. Elena's face lit up with joy when she saw Maya and Victor together. "My prayers have been answered," she said softly. "My family is together again." Maya sat on one side of Elena's bed while Victor sat on the other. They spent hours talking, sharing stories, and making plans for the future. "Elena, when you're released from the hospital, I want you to come live with me," Victor said. "I have a big house with plenty of room, and I want to take care of you the way you took care of Maya. And I'll visit every day," Maya added. "We'll be a real family again." Elena smiled through her tears. "This is the happiest day I've had in years." 3 months later, the Golden Spoon had become the most popular restaurant in downtown Chicago. Word had spread about the excellent food, professional service, and ethical treatment of employees. Business was booming, and the staff was happy and motivated. Maya had become the general manager of the restaurant while also starting work on the Rodriguez Foundation for Worker Dignity. She and her father worked together every day, building programs to help service workers across the country. Helena Blackwell had tried several times to have her ban from the Golden Spoon lifted, but Victor had made it clear that she would never be welcome there. The video of Maya's humiliation had been taken down from social media, but Helena's reputation had been permanently damaged by her cruel behavior. Maya and Victor had grown closer than they had ever been, bonding over their shared commitment to helping others and treating people with respect. Elena had recovered fully and was living happily in Victor's mansion, where she spent her days cooking meals for her reunited family. On the 6-month anniversary of Maya's first day as shift supervisor, Victor surprised her with a special gift. He had established a scholarship fund in Elena's name to help young people from poor families attend college and pursue careers in social work. "Papa, this is beautiful," Maya said as she read the scholarship announcement. "Grandma Elena will be so proud." "She already is," Victor replied with a smile. "And so am I. You've taught me that true success isn't measured by how much money you make, but by how many lives you can improve." Maya looked around the bustling restaurant, watching her employees serve customers with genuine smiles and professional pride,